We're back again.
Episode 4. Oh my goodness, time flies.
Yes, long time no see.
Hey there, everybody out there in podcast land. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. Lots of things happening in the world out there. I'm even just feeling into the future. And so thanks for tuning in for another episode. I really hope, I think just doing this podcast, to meet John, it's been really helpful for us. So I hope you're also getting some blessings and benefits out of it too. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, I agree. This has been healing for me for sure. So we are now on episode 4. The topic we're discussing today is visioning the future, imagining the world you want to help create. So when I think of a vision and manifesting my future, I often think of stepping out of my comfort zone and growing beyond my current limits. So I talk about it with my students a lot, encouraging them to do small acts out of their comfort zone every day to help them expand and grow. And I try to be an example for that. For example, I hate public speaking. So just being here on a podcast with you is so far out of my comfort zone. But beyond that, this year in 2025, in this transitional, crazy, chaotic year, I have signed up to speak at conferences. I've been doing TV commercials. I have just been really, really stepping out of my comfort zone. And um when I envision my future, I envision taking those steps along with me and finding comfort in that. So, Deborah, I'm going to pose a question to you. If you didn't have to be realistic, what kind of future would your soul design?
Oh my. Well, there are personal aspects for it, but I think that part of that is because I'm a mom and I have daughters. And for me, a big part of my visioning of the future is when I leave this earth, hopefully I have many, years, decades still to go, but that it's my time. That the world that my daughters live in is a world that expresses the values that we have of equity and inclusivity and fairness and justice, equal opportunities, equal sharing of resources, not we talked in the previous episode about individual sovereignty, where there is a space for each person to be their individual authentic self. There isn't othering, and there's this acceptance of and honoring of the differences in the cultures and the skills and the abilities. It's the I don't share, I may not believe what you believe, but you go ahead and you can believe your beliefs, and I can believe, have my beliefs or my, values, and it doesn't have to be exclusive. So for me, so much of my vision of the world is like that. And when I think about my personal vision of having my little studio art space, beautiful. What's well, I'm still trying to figure out mountains and lakes or the ocean. One certainly, and I see myself there, and I see myself in this vision of having a successful, art practice that I can and do for my clients. It's part of the astrology work that I do, and what I see myself sitting on the porch with my trusty little companion behind me or beside me, and I'm looking out and I see this beautiful sunset and I hear the birds, and it's just this incredible feeling of peace. And it's knowing that I'm not the only person in the world experiencing peace. And it's this feeling of knowing that this is peace that everyone in the world is able to experience, that they're all experiencing that. That's my vision.
That's beautiful.
You know, just connecting that it's so interesting to me because I was, like, sort of in that space, and it took me a moment to come back, "Oh, yeah, right, I'm doing a podcast here."
Well, me too. I was just sitting there daydreaming about it.
So, you know what? That's this episode, folks. You should go just rewind a little bit, listen to that, and then we're just gonna be quiet. We're just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna say you're all invited. Just be quiet. You can sit on my porch with me, but be quiet and just vision that piece. But the beauty of connecting with this vision, with our visions, with our dreams, um, is is that it takes us to this place of limitless possibility. And it's sometimes it's hard to stay in that space because there's this voice of like, well, land is expensive, or, how are you, how is this going to happen, or how is that going to happen? Or all of the reasons of like why we can't live in a on think of all the narratives that are out there that tell us why we cannot coexist on this planet together, why war has to continue, why there has to be poverty, why there cannot be an equal share of resources. There is, in fact, statistically, enough food and resources to go around. There is, in fact, enough resources to be able to provide energy, free energy for everyone. These exist. There's the data there, but it's this narrative of like trying to control, divide, conquer. And that narrative is there. And so when we are sitting there in this place of, visioning and dreaming, we're connected, but it feels like so remote and distant, ethereal in a way. It's like when you wake up in the morning and you've ever had that. I'm sure you've had this experience, when you had a really wonderful dream and you wake up and you really don't want to open your eyes because you want to stay in that dream, right?
Yes.
But the power of that is how you feel. And what it does is it creates a feeling within us. We talked in the last episode, and it referenced it in some of the other episodes as well. The importance of creating this experience of having the feeling, because that feeling lights up neurons in our brain. And the more we light up those neurons, the more we can reconnect with that feeling, the more we can believe that it is possible. And the more we believe in that possibility and connect with that, the more we create the opportunity for that to become real, because that's how things manifest. It's having the feeling and believing in the feeling and holding on to that possibility and moving towards that. Astrologically, it's so interesting because Neptune, the planet which represents spirituality, but also dream and the dream state and the whole dream world, is moving from Pisces, which is a very spiritual, etheric sign, into this dynamic fire sign of Aries. Says, now is the time to fire is passion, to passionately believe in your dreams to the extent that we can create this feeling so that actions happen and the dreams will manifest. So to me, astrologically, it's interesting that we're entering into this phase, which is Neptune's, that's not a short-term period of time. Neptune's going to be moving it. It's going to take a while to transition fully into that energy. But now is the time to have some sort of passionate dream. It doesn't have to be a big, huge thing. I have a friend who's a dream of wanting to create a healing retreat. That's a big dream. I have another friend who says her dream is to just be able to retire with a comfortable resources and just live simply. And she doesn't even want a big place. She just wants like a small, like I just said, it sounds like you don't even need a tiny home. You just want a storage shed. She's going to buy a camper and travel. And that is a big thing for her. So it's this aspect. Neptune moving into Aries is asking us to be very passionate about what we're dreaming of in this world.
That's awesome. So I'm going to make a shameless plug, because actually you and I, along with our friend Joanna, wrote a book about vision. So it's fitting that we're recording this podcast episode. It's actually an anthology with a bunch of really talented authors. And the chapter that I wrote in here is about not holding on to our vision too tightly, but instead to make space for variability. And for me, when I'm thinking about our visions and expanding, obviously we all make vision boards, right? So many teachers tell students to put the vision board where it's visible every day and they can see it as a reminder of what they're aiming for. I personally tell my students to tuck it away and to put it away where they're not going to see it, because I don't want that vision board to be a reminder of the person's lack, or of the distance that they still have to achieve in finding their or achieving their goal. But I also don't want them to be too attached to the specifics. So often the universe will provide so much more and so much better than we can envision for ourselves. So when we leave space for surprises and for the miracles, it really is to our benefit.
Having the openness, if we hold on too tightly to the specifics, first of all, the universe is very responsive. The divine is very responsive. If we are focused on something, whatever it is that we're focused on, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, whether it's in our highest good or not, the universe will be like, okay. I think a lot of times the divine kind of sort of tries to water it down and sort of give us some grace of like, are you really sure this is what you want? But if we focus on something, we're going to start getting experiences in that way. And if we're really seriously focused on something, or if there's some specific detail, like this cabin has to be, in on this particular mountain in this state and with this view, and it might not be in my best interest. It might be that that mountain, years from after I put the little cabin there, is going to have a landslide, and my cabin is going to be at the bottom of the canyon.
Yeah, and
So,
in my chapter, I talk about how I really had this vision of being an actor and performing and being a character on stage, and that evolved into a vision of being authentic and showing up fully as myself. And the universe, when we open our minds to the possibilities, will help guide us in that right direction.
but keeping things open and flexible also, it we particularly having the mindset like this is where we're getting into the what and the what are we manifesting? I can say, what do you most want to manifest or experience next in your life? And somebody might say, like my youngest starter, I want to successfully get through this PhD program and have a really good job and everything else. That's a path she's chosen, but it's like, what does she want to feel? She wants to feel like she has financial stability or good job, employment stability, something, reliable. And she wants to feel that she's contributing. She wants to contribute something through science back to the world. So she wants to have a sense of purpose. What she wants is this particular feeling, a feeling of being purposeful, of feeling safe, of feeling provided for, and feeling engaged and interested. She's always curious, and so she wants to do something interesting, right? So what we're really trying, but we sometimes get so caught up on the box that we want that to be delivered in. And it could be that that's really not the best way or some aspect of it. So being open and being able to accept that when we try to move forward, this didn't happen. It doesn't mean the whole vision is not meant to be. It could very well be that this path here is being presented, or something like, I'm sure that this is the best way. I'm going to do this. So, John, I'm gonna reference something personal for you. I hope this is okay, but it is book related. So you have a book proposal that you have been submitting to a well-known publisher multiple times, and each time it's like, almost there, almost there. And when the opportunity came, when I first participated with the publisher that did our Power of Vision book, the first book that I did of synchronicity, and I said, I think you could write a chapter in here, right? So your vision of becoming a published author has manifested in this by participating in this book. Is it the book that you are wanting to write? Not yet. Not yet. But now you have become a published author. The way in which I became connected to this publisher was also, I have in the back of my mind a book that I want to write purely by so-called chance. It was synchronicity. I happened to go to an event not knowing the publisher was going to be there. They were doing a little, they were part of another event, or they were on the staff of this event, but they also were allowed to do a presentation, and they offered this opportunity to like, I can write a chapter, and this might be the right publisher for me because I want to use an independent publisher. This might be the right publishing group to work with. So now I also have achieved the dream of being a published author. Have I published the book or written and published the book that I have in mind? No, but each of these projects that I get involved in helps me get closer. So I had this idea in mind of how it was supposed to happen, and the universe gave me an opportunity, gave you an opportunity. You have that successful feeling. It is so wonderful. Is it when you got that book and to be able to hold up and say, here is my chapter, right? It's that feeling of success. It is the feeling that when we choose things that we want to manifest, if you can identify what the feeling is it peace? Is it joy? Is it stability? Is it a feeling of belonging? Is it a feeling of, um, I'm trying to describe a think of a word of like feeling like you're home when you come home, having a place to come home. It is kind of safety and security, but it's just feeling comfortable, feeling welcome home. What is the feeling? Is it being seen? Is it being heard? Is it creative expression? Is it joy? What is the feeling behind what it is? Whether it's a particular car that you want to buy, or a place you want to go, or an experience you want to have, and by connecting with that feeling and then doing things, make a list of things in your life. This is an alternative to the vision board. Make a list of things in your life that allow you to feel that way. Okay. What connects with that feeling of, in my case, it was for me with the first anthology and the subsequent ones, it's that opportunity to be seen and heard. And what are other things that I do that help me to feel seen and heard? This podcast is one. I have I post videos about my astrology. And, I don't even pay attention to how many likes or views it is. I'm just, every time I record it and it's good and I put it up there, it's there and I leave it there until the next one. And I mean, if there are comments, I'll look and engage with those comments, but I'm not really obsessively worrying about how many people are liking it. It's just, I feel like I'm being seen. I feel like I'm being heard. I started doing those before, not too long before this book project opportunity came up. But previous to that, John, you and I had done a couple of TikTok, reposting or dual posting challenges. And that was an opportunity. It was that wanting to be seen and heard so you can take something was the things we did on that TikTok challenge for Course in Miracles, did that lead to the book publishing? Not directly, but it was taking a step and saying, I'm going to do this. This brings me this feeling. When I talk about the vision of the cabin in the woods, when I travel and go places, every time I come to a place, I'm like, if I would love to live in this place. And a lot of times it's a national park, so I'm not going to be. But I will sit there in that spot and take in that view of the lake or the mountain or the ocean or the redwood. I get to camp in the redwood forest recently. Of what does it feel like to live in a place like this that feels like this could be home? This is what it feels like to be at home in nature. And by taking in that feeling and increasing that feeling, that's an energetic vision board within myself. It's an imprint. And the more I choose to do things, the more I become a person who experiences that feeling, the more effectively I will be able to manifest other things that I want to manifest.
Yeah, I totally agree that there are very few tangible things that I put on my vision board or I envision for myself or for the world. For the most part, it's all feeling of prosperity and security and comfort and confidence. And what I love about what you were just talking about specifically with the videos and going viral and stuff like that is it was on my vision board for years to go viral. And I was obsessing over this video is gonna go viral. Oh no, this next video is gonna go viral. And I think it was in 2023 I was just posting videos every day and I was just in the habit and I kind of just got into this routine and I'd post them, I'd plant the seeds and I released the desire to be famous or to go viral. I released all of the ego behind the videos. And I was just like, you know what? I'm helping people even if it touches one life. That makes the difference. And something inspired me to go back and check one of my videos. And I don't know if it was a conversation with you or another friend, But when I went back to check, like, oh, what did I say in that video? It was really sharp. And I went back to check and it had over 1 million views. I was like, what? I went viral. And then I started scrolling through some other videos, and there were other videos that had over 1 million views. And I had literally just ignored it all. I was oblivious to it all. But from me connecting to the feeling and then releasing it and trusting in the universe, it's space for that manifestation to actually come to fruition. Now, when we're envisioning tangible things like I would love a king size bed. You mentioned the publisher. I would really love to work with that publisher. Is that selfish? Like, is it selfish to like want these things, or
So interesting. I think that sometimes when we dream big, incidentally, I was actually, when I was creating a vision for something that was big, I actually heard one of my guides say to me, dream big or go home. And I was like, okay, I'm going to dream big. There is a part of us that I think it depends on how you're raised. But I think a lot of times it's kind of like I was raised in a home where it's like you should share everything. Everything is not all for you. It's like always share, leave enough for your brothers to have, or leave room for others, or don't hog all the glory, or don't be too smart, or there were all of these messages of like, don't be your whole big beautiful bold self. And this message of that, if I dream this big, or if I claim this for myself, I'm taking something away from other people. That's a mindset that defies the universe, which is infinite. The universe is infinite. There is this infinite amount of energy in the universe, and energy is never lost or destroyed or it's like this, it's this constant flow of energy that manifests in different ways. But the mindset and the narrative that to have that if I drink this glass, if I drink the water in this glass, that much water is being taken away from someone else. Actually, the amount of water, the volume of water on planet Earth, either atmospheric or on the Earth, has not changed. We haven't lost any water. It hasn't evaporated or gone anywhere. It's just where is it? What is the form of it? I remember reading that scientific fact somewhere, and that blew my mind. Now, is there enough clean water for everybody where they need it? Maybe not. But to me, that was kind of like this little microcosm of this idea that energetically there is enough for everyone. So, but we have this narrative that's been implanted in us that we believe that to want something or to acquire things is to take things away from other people or from other beings on the earth, and or take things away from nature. And yes, there is a physical aspect of that, that if you drain this clean water resource, then maybe that clean water resource is drained from that place. But that water, we drink it, we expel it, it goes into the sewer system, it evaporates into the air, comes back again as rain. All of it, but it may come back in a different place. So it's kind of abstract, but it's this idea that there is plenty, the universe, divine energy, it's this expansiveness of love that's out there. So to move from the concept of is this selfish of me? And if we have that mindset is going to block it manifesting, or it's not going to manifest like, okay, well, you're not going to get that. If say someone's manifesting a better job, well, they get like a kind of a lesser offer because, well, maybe I don't really deserve that. I'd be taking that job away from Sally, and she's got 6 kids and she really needs that job, that kind of mindset. And to to switch from the mindset of thinking that what we desire and what we want, to switch from selfish to self-full. It is to fulfill the desire that's implanted within us. And I had a teacher once say many years ago, if there's a deep rooted desire in your soul that's been planted in your soul, if it's really there in your heart, the divine would not plant this desire in your heart if it were not meant for you. It's not like we're dangling this little piece of candy in front of you and you can't have it, or this big, beautiful dream, this vision. If you're given this dream, if you're given this vision, it's meant for you. And it doesn't mean that it's taking away. But if that feeling comes up when that question comes up, that's again, we talk about sitting and looking at that, sitting and saying, well, if I, how do I feel about the fact that I even want this? How do you feel about the fact that I want to have this cabin in the woods? Well, maybe I should just leave that little part of the woods untouched by humans or whatever. So it's examining that feeling, and when that question of doubt, because doubt is one of the biggest uh obstacles in terms of being able to create something and claim it for ourselves.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. So I want to let everyone know that when we let ourselves dream from a place of alignment, not fear or lack, we tap into something bold and something sacred. And that's how we become co creators with the universe. So thank you for an awesome episode.
Yeah, and I would like to add to that invitation soon, really soon after listening to this episode, maybe as soon as you turn it off. I want you to just grab your phone if you use your phone for notebooks, or just write down on a little piece of paper. I want you to write down right now in this moment, I'm dreaming big of blank, and fill in that blank.
Awesome.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah. In our next episode, we're going to explore the dance between effort and ease.
Mm.
So, finding the balance point between force and flow, action and surrender.
See you all next time.